Joining us now from the Charleston School of Etiquette is Cindy Grosso. Cindy, Charleston has always ranked as the most mannerly city for years and years, but are we starting to slip?
That's a good question. We have received the Most Mannerly City Award for about 12 years. We received the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2007 and actually won the award in 2008 as well. But I don't know if it's actually that we've started to slip. I think that we're busy, and as we get busy and we're rushing against time a lot, I think that has a big influence on civility, quite frankly.
Well, I'm just wondering if those people that gave us the award have ever been inside a parking garage in the city of Charleston, whether they've ever been to the beach when the tide starts to go out, or they've watched people on their cell phones walking down King Street.
Right.
And speaking of cell phones, one of the beefs that a lot of people have is when somebody talks on their cell phone in a restaurant.
Right.
Is that ever okay?
Well, you know, if you are in a restaurant with a group of people, you know, sometimes somebody may be running late, they may be lost, and if you see it's that person, to take a quick call and say, where are you, or I'm running late, I'm sorry I'm running late, that's okay. I think the gripe is basically that people will have extended conversations, and their conversation is at a level that is much louder than what is normal conversation. So you can always tell when someone's on a cell phone. You don't have to be looking at them or even facing them. You can just tell by the loudness of their voice if they're speaking to the person in front of them or if they're speaking on the phone. So I think it's a volume issue, and to make it short, you know, there are things that happen.
What is it with cell phones? I mean, I always want to say to some people, why don't you just shout out the window? They can hear you without the use of the cell phone.
Oh, cell phones. It's amazing that...
Does the type of restaurant or the type of fare you're having in that restaurant make a difference? For instance, is breakfast, is it okay to talk on your cell phone? At business lunch, is it okay? It's not okay in a fine dining restaurant at night? Are there different criteria?
Well, pretty much a cell phone does not take priority anytime you have a face-to-face meeting with someone. So if you're having a meeting in business or a lunch meeting or a breakfast meeting, if you're meeting with someone face-to-face, that cell phone does not take priority over that face-to-face meeting. And people need to remember that. Put your phone on vibrate, put it on, let it take a message. You've got voicemail.
So it's rude just not to the person who's at the next table, but it's also rude to the person who you're having lunch with.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, when I get to be king, I'm going to ban cell phones. And cell phones are only going to be used in phone booths. Let's bring back the phone booths. But what about some of these other beefs that people have had, like mine involving parking? You know, it drives me nuts. Right. Drives me nuts to see people parking, taking up 2 spaces like their car is more important and valuable than mine.
Right.
And this handicap parking is an outrage.
Right.
Is there a correct or polite way for me to address those people that are driving me nuts, or should I just go to the garage attendant?
Well, you can go to the garage attendant. You also, as we've heard a little earlier, can call the police in that jurisdiction. I do not, however, suggest or recommend that you confront that person. I think that it's a lesson that maybe you look at. You know, sometimes if we appreciate the people around us, we appreciate the people that we like and learn what they do well and learn from that and learn to do that. By the same token, when we see people that we are doing things that we don't think is good, we learn from that as well, and not to have that be you, and more so not to have it be the people around you. In other words, you can influence your children, your family, people that trust you, and you actually have earned a right to sort of help. You know, if you go up against someone and you give them feedback, let's just say, they're going to take that as criticism or unwanted advice, unsolicited advice, and it pretty much oftentimes is counterproductive. It's not going to be taken well. So, to my opinion, is the better thing is to say, you know what, I don't want that ever to be me or my children.
Does that go all around? I mean, the guy that's parking in the parking spot that I want to get into, you don't put a nail under his tire, but you don't confront him either. Cell phones, same thing. You ignore them. You let them be loudmouth in the restaurant, or you have the waitress or the food and beverage people go over and ask them to quiet down a bit.
Right. You have several options.
But the one option that's not available is confrontation.
Well, it's not that it's not available. I just don't think it's the best way to handle it. I think that the first option for me is to move. Second option for me is to ask for the restaurant manager and see if they can help. If I can't move, if the restaurant is crowded, and then speak to management and ask them to help. But it's just not really a very good option, in my opinion, to confront people. Usually, it's not met with any great sometimes it is. I won't say it's never met, but usually it's just more aggravation, and it's going to cause you harm and you know, ruin the rest of your evening.
Well, Cindy, thanks so much, and thanks for keeping us #1 in the country.